Superb. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for coming into the studio here as well. We're joined by the Sherlocks. You guys are just about to you're doing a little bit of a UK tour at the moment, aren't you? And then sort of pre-release album that's coming out, which is People Like Me and You. Got that the right way around, didn't I?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then after that, you guys are heading to Europe, aren't you?
Yeah. So, firstly, thanks for having us. We've had a blast. And yeah, like at minute, we sort of, I don't know how you describe it, we like doing stripped back pub gigs. They're mostly in pubs. Announce them one week, turn up maybe a week later, and we're just filling these pubs out and just having a blast. And in the process, obviously, grafting to Zella's album.
That must be cracking, really, as well. Like, it's almost like a speakeasy sort of gig, isn't it? The idea of like releasing it just sort of a week in advance or whatever, I mentioned it, and then seeing all these sort of like hardcore fans, really, because that is sort of what you guys are about, aren't you? Like, you have such a great grassroots following that have been with you from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Like the proper tour, like that's in October, where we'll be hitting all the usual places you'd expect. So we thought we'd do something different and try and play all the places that don't get much attention or they're never really on bands' tour posters. And honestly, like the amount of places we played recently is just insane. We're turning up to random boozers in places I've never even heard of, and then there'll just be like 200 people. Just it's absolutely rammed. And then that's the best thing about these gigs, though. People come up, you stood in room with them, like rather than a dressing room, and then you just go on, have a laugh, play a couple of covers as well, chuck some of them in, and then just go and have a drink with them all. And
that's class.
That's what it's about.
So don't let it out.
It's like a happy medium, isn't it, between like a full band show and a real stripped back acoustic.
A hybrid setup, haven't you?
It's dead easy as well.
They have been going off. We had a geezer with his top off on somebody's shoulders in Mansfield.
On a Tuesday night.
On a Tuesday night in Mansfield.
Tuesday night.
So yeah, they are going off these gigs, and they're really memorable, like for people, because everyone we speak to, the couple go, "Can't believe you're here," and we're like, "Why?"
Wanna see you fall, just it sometimes feels like you only get in my way. I'm coming out in style, win or lose this time.
So it's sort of like, are you playing a couple of obviously you've just released a couple of new singles as well, including like Sirens, which is an absolute banger. People Like Me and You, which is obviously the title track from the album as well. Both of those will be appearing on the album, I'm supposing, yeah?
Yeah.
And then also there was a B-side, wasn't there, as well, on Sirens, which I love a good B-side with that.
It was basically Sirens is the full length track's about 5 minutes, so everything on physical will be 5 minutes. But for Spotify, we had to chop it in half, so that the B-side is actually the second half of Sirens.
Really?
And we called it What do we call it?
No retreat.
No retreat, no surrender.
That's it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, people are loving that, and that second half of that song cut perfectly as well. So once it finished, it were like Sirens as the single, what a perfect length, and then the back end of the tune were like it's almost like an instrumental, but
The
with like
rock
one
off.
chorus thrown in at end.
Rock off.
That is class, that.
We didn't want to chop it either.
Yeah.
Like, it was just such a shame. Like, we had that structure in practice room from start, and like when we came in to do it, we didn't want to just conform to like, oh, it needs to be a single, like we need to chop everything down to 3 minutes. We were just like, we can't get rid of. We just enjoy playing it all. So when we play it live, we literally play it all.
You only get in my way.
Because even with, like, for instance, for the new album, for these title tracks that have come out as well, or the title track and then the singles as well, like, it definitely feels like it's not a different direction, so to speak, but definitely feels like a lot more mature and a lot more sort of, there's a lot more depth going on there, especially with like the production aspects of things that are going through it.
Yeah, I think we've just done. I mean, we always do, or we try to, but I think this album also we've really like just done exactly what we wanted to do. Whereas like sometimes you get in studio and you can be like persuaded, oh go on then, we'll do it that way. But whereas this time I feel like every single tune we've just got it exactly how we wanted it, which has probably ended up with some longer tunes on album, not gonna lie, but
It's not a bad thing though, is it?
no, in the grand scheme of things, like on an actual set list, once all songs are spaced around and you've got a proper set, it just adds to different stuff in the set rather than just being 3-minute bangers. You've got some nice music in there for a change.
What do you think? What do you think the difference was? Do you think it was because you just didn't decide to sort of cut songs down, as far as the difference in this album per se? Like you said, everything that came out the way that you wanted to sound.
I think the reason it happened is the songs after the third album, we got the songs in practice room and we just came up with a lot of ideas, like maybe too many ideas for each song. But like once you start playing it in practice room, you do get attached to things. I mean, we have chopped plenty of things art if it's.
Yeah. We're not scared to trim fat off it, like, but normally we'll get it in practice room, like our key says, and then if that's the worst it's going to sound like, and we normally get it sounding pretty good. So if we're all rocking, we know when we take it into the studio it's going to sound massive. So we just thrash a load of ideas out and then just trim bits we don't need, and then, like we said, we've let a couple of tunes breathe a little bit more on this one where it's needed. But I think that just comes with the experience of doing like 3 previous albums. So
for Trent and Alex, for you guys, sort of when you joined the band, you sort of had to hit the ground running in a sense, because it was sort of straight onto the album, wasn't it? For is it World I Understand?
Yeah.
And whereas now you've sort of had a time to play that, and sort of you guys have had a chance more to gel, I imagine, as well together. Do you think like it's a different experience for you coming to write this album as well?
Yeah, I mean the way we did the first album was, I mean, after COVID, it was pretty. It was just a wild time, wasn't it? Yeah. Learn most of the songs over WhatsApp, and then to be told that you're going to Rockfield in 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah,
for 3 weeks straight.
We'd never had a drink together before or anything like that, or a cup of tea or anything. Honestly.
We didn't know. You must have been anxious though.
Yeah, straight down to Rockfield and away you go.
How did that first gig go then? After
the first gig was in front of about 40,000 people. Honestly, I'm not even joking.
Threw us in the deep end.
Yeah, right in the deep end. No armbands.
Yeah, I was gonna say no armbands.
No armbands. Yeah, no, it was tram lines.
Yeah.
Tea time slot, weren't it? Main stage.
Yeah.
See you people. Cheers. Don't choke.
Well, still, yeah, that is really impressive though, isn't it? To do
go.
all that and to handle that on your shoulders, both of you.
Yeah.
Like, for you as well, Trent, like it must have been just, I don't know, must have been just unimaginable in a way.
Yeah, it definitely was. Like, I mean, throwing us in the deep end kind of helped, I think, because we didn't start off small. It was like everything after that was smaller than what we'd just done. So I remember before Tramlines, I was like not thinking about it. I was like, don't think about how many people are there. Just walk on. You know what you're doing, and it's fine. Just you know what you're doing. And then and now everything after is just like, it's fine. Don't get any nerves or anything. So
You're just hoping that when you press unmute, there's something's gonna come out.
The sun it shines this time on your side. The sun it shines. You got nowhere to hide. The sun it shines this time on your side.
It's really impressive with all of you to put that all together as well and go into a studio and do it, and then, like say, take it, gig it. But then now that you've obviously, hopefully now you've had a chance to have, I mean, I say a breather, but you guys are always working anyway. But like, you've had a chance to sort of get to know each other now. So for this new album that's coming out, do you feel like there's been a bit of a difference? Like when it comes to the creative process, and Kieran, you say that you do a lot of the writing, but do you guys all have sort of an input into everything?
Yeah. Like basically, I just come up with the skeleton, the first bit, the melody, and the chords. That's basically my job, and then bring it to practice room and see what everybody thinks. See if there's no point me like digging a tune trying to force it if all other three are thinking this is a stinker. But So yeah,
Not been in any
I
of those
feed
yet.
off. I come up with the original tune, but I still feed off these three and see what
Yeah.
everybody's thinking, and then
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Everyone has to enjoy it, and
Yeah.
I imagine you have to have a lot of honesty between each other, because you have to be able to say whether or not you really do love something, or whether or not you think you can go, actually maybe we need to do this instead.
that's it. I think it's just honesty, but
We all do that. Well, yeah. Well, this album in particular, we were probably the most unprepared we've ever been
yeah.
Really?
for an album. Yeah, like Kieran were writing tunes on. How many songs did you have to write on last week?
We basically went into
not the song, the lyrics. Sorry,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
the.
we went into the studio with half a song, not just half. each song were like basically half a tune. They were, so like one song would be I've got a verse and a chorus melody, or next tune would be I've got it's usually verse one. That's the pattern. There'd be verse one and maybe a chorus. Like that were it. So I had to basically just write a second verse for pretty much every tune, and often figure out what the chorus lyrics were. The melody, that's how I tend to write anyway. The melody's usually always there. It's just getting lyrics. But yeah, the way we're doing it, we're like Monday to Thursday usually, and I think in that last week, I thought I had 4 tunes to sing in 4 days of songs I'd not even wrote yet, and then it turned out when it got to Tuesday, I double checked and I had 5 songs to sing in 4 days, but I'd not even finished writing them. It was just stupid. But
Do you think it's sort of the pressure that helps spur it on, or do you also think because sort of it's like an open book at that point, you know, you can take it where you want to go with it as well? Like,
yeah, well, like say Sirens for example, that was the same thing. The chorus not really changed from when I first wrote it, but the verses, that were a song where I just opened it up to the studio, like everyone in the studio, and just said like, let's just write a mad tune. You just sort of figure it out. And then the other ones, I'd just take myself away, and everybody else would just do, like Brandon would get some percussion down, or Alex would get last bits of guitar down, and I'd go and finish the lines and stuff like that.
You know I need Bobby on that night. Inside jokes, we're on train eyes. Let's step it up, get through the gears. 'Cause all these days are turning into years. I wanna climb.
you recorded the album at Motor Museum, isn't it? In
Yeah.
Liverpool, and then worked alongside. Is it Alan Groves?
Al Groves, yeah.
Al Groves.
It could be Alan.
Alistair.
Alistair Grove.
Alistair Groves.
Alan!
So, like working with Alan then, as far as like production aspect and that's concerned, Alistair. Is that right?
Alistair.
Why do I keep going Alan? I'm just going to say Al.
Let's
I'm
call
gonna
him
go with
Alan
Let's
anyway,
call him
mate.
Alan.
I
It's
know,
better.
I've embarrassed myself there. There you go. So working with Al, yeah. Do you find like was it sort of you had a lot of different sort of ideas to you guys that it was implemented on it, or did he sort of just steer you in the direction that you guys wanted to go already?
I think it was the perfect step from where we'd just been, to be fair. We'd just come out at, obviously, these two had just joined. It was a crazy time down Rockfield. Not just getting an album down, but getting to know each other. And we did that with Dave Ehringer, who's worked with like, what do you call Manic Street Preachers, and bands like that. It's very, very like traditional rock and roll, just a classic. Very good at doing that. And this one were like Al, who's slightly younger than Dave and is more into like programming stuff. So that was a challenge, trying to squeeze a little bit of that stuff into our music, like Sirens. If you listen to it each time, hopefully you'll be hearing something new, or like notice little things that you wouldn't maybe expect in our tunes. So yeah.
Was you expecting that sort of work, or was you almost hoping for that sort of classic way
Yeah,
of doing things?
like we all know we can slam a load of guitars down.
Yeah.
That's sort of been our thing, but like I think the best thing Al brought to the table was some of that program stuff, and like just switching a guitar out for something different, or just loads of that stuff really, which I don't think we've ever had in our sound. I think it has made this album sound a lot bigger.
That's cool. 'Cause I noticed like in the earlier albums, you guys do like a fair few string arrangements as well that were on it. Like, and this time, like I said, with Sirens and stuff, Sirens, and I think people like me and you, it's like a couple of synth sounds, and it's sort of a bit more digital-esque in a way. And like, it still obviously sounds like you guys, and it's still really energetic, like really kick-ass tunes. But at the same time, do you think it sort of flipped things on its head a little bit and sort of steered you in a different direction that you might not steered in if it weren't for Alistair?
Steeled.
Yeah, steeled.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I think it's good to do that as well. It keeps just broadening like everything, like your whole what you're able to do as a band. It's like when you write a song and all you've got is fast songs, then one day you write a slow tune, and then all of a sudden after that it's just like, oh, we can do that. So like we try and keep doing that, widening everything we do.
Sometimes I feel like the punchline, and if I am it, I don't wanna know.
How long did it take you in the studio then altogether to record People Like Me and You?
Well, weird because it was like in between. I'm sure we had a UK tour, and we wanted to. The idea was to get a new album down in and around that UK tour, so we just squeezed it in. That's why it was a bit robotic going to Liverpool and back all the time.
Yeah.
But we had to make it work. And like, I'm sure one day did we fly somewhere? We flew to a.
Mad cool.
Yeah, we flew to a thing, then we come back and we had to go straight back to the studio, and it was just like. It was just madness how we actually did it. No other band on planet would have done what we were doing around this album. And it would come out as good as it did.
From Luton or something, no Gatwick.
I don't know.
Straight to Liverpool and then
whatever it was, it didn't make sense, but we did it anyway. Because we had to. So then, it was a bit chaotic, weren't it, that one?
Yeah.
Well, I think he wanted to capture the because we were on tour around the UK. He wanted to kind of capture that in the album.
Yeah.
You know, kind of was being a bit more energetic.
Yeah. And it's like I don't know if it's a myth or if there's probably some truth in it. Like a band's supposed to be like playing tightest when they're on road, or like when they've just been on road. It's perfect time to get them in studio.
That makes sense, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
being consistently together. Because that's the part that people don't see, all the madness that happens behind the scenes.
They just see album come out and think,
the album,
that's a
the
good
hour
one.
and a half gig,
Yeah.
2-hour gigs, but they don't see all the. Because she was on about the upcoming tour. You've got like what 17 gigs in like what was it 20 days?
Yeah.
That's in Europe, that's the
Yeah.
European tour, but like even the UK tour's huge, isn't it?
Yeah. Probably biggest tour we've done in UK.
Yeah, because that starts in October, doesn't it?
Yeah, all across October, playing
Into November, in fact, isn't it?
finishing off in Sheffield in November 4th.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, playing all the usual places: Manchester, Sheffield, got a Glasgow date.
Yeah, it felt like we were not away for a while. Everyone were away for a while with COVID, but just before COVID, we were like really getting some good traction on that, and it felt like after COVID, everyone had to like do a reset and see where the warrant landscape. But this tour now has put us back to where we were before COVID. Like we're back doing like Manchester Academy and stuff like that. Whereas the gigs after COVID, we had to do like we do a Ritz and an Albert Hall. But now we're back where we want to be. So we're going to try and sell Manchester Academy out and then take another jump up and maybe get back to like Victoria Warehouse and just keep climbing back to where we were going.
I tried, but I just can't stay with you. Oh, you. If I don't mean
The other thing to point out as well is that you guys you're releasing this new album as well, aren't you? Off your own backs, really, because it's Teddy Boy Records. Is that right? And so it's your own label, and so it's really the support of people and like you say, and sort of small groups and small acts. It's not like a big, massive conglomerate, is it, spurring you on to do this? It's your own backs.
There's no big machine behind this
That's the
outfit.
thing, yeah. But it is impressive just how hard you all work at it, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly it. We all want to make it work. We're all proud of what we do. We all enjoy doing it. That's the main thing. Like if we didn't push and just sat back, we'd end up not being able to do it. And we all love making tunes, and it's like best job in the world. Writing tunes, go and record them, and then tour them. It's class.
you take me to a world where